Hey class, Dr. Knightley here, welcoming you to week 3 of our Luke Acts class. Now, this week we're focusing on salvation, and you're going to read Bach chapter 7, chapters 10 and 11, and then you're going to skip all the way to chapter 20. In the Carson and Nielsen book, remember, they're the editors, not the authors. You're going to read a chapter written by Colin Smith from Luke chapter 4, pretty fascinating passage of scripture. And then also a chapter by Croton Loritz, and that deals with the subject of Jesus and the poor. And that's something that's going to come up in a future discussion, so you might want to tuck that one away. But this has oftentimes been a fascinating focal point for students as they've worked with the book of Luke especially, how Jesus is very inclusive of people who are considered marginalized, and the way that he treats the poor versus the way that he's portrayed in some of the other Gospels. So, pretty interesting. Also of note for you, there are a couple of narrated PowerPoints by Dr. Dale Lemke. He has since moved on from Crown College, but he's the one responsible for the creation of this course. And he has a very good 10-minute PowerPoint on the difference between preaching and teaching in the New Testament, and then the difference between the ancient ideas versus the current ideas. So you want to check that out. And then he also has a second PowerPoint that narrates the idea of what exactly is gospel literature. And so he gets into an author by the name of Pennington, who wrote an excellent book, and I would highly recommend the Jesus and the Four Gospels course to you, which is used as more or less a course where you compare the way that different Gospels are dealing with the same passage. And it's a great course. I taught it for a number of years, and now that's somebody else's work. But I think that you'll really profit from looking at the information from Pennington, especially I think his very pregnant, if you allow me to use that term, definition of what the gospel is. So please check that out. So this week for your discussion, you're going to be talking about the multiple aspects of salvation, and you'll be talking about the role of mankind in salvation, human beings, and then of course you'll be talking about the role of God in salvation. Now, it says in the instructions to make sure that you refer to both scripture and the text in your initial post. I think that's a great idea, so please do that. And then once again, if you want to have outstanding posts, then you're going to be referring to the text in all of your responses to your classmates. So that's a real basic way that I use to separate outstanding from proficient work. And if that's too much work for you, and you can waste the points if you think you have space, then just please don't do it. I'm not trying to stress anybody out. I'm just trying to make sure that you understand what you have to do. All right. You also have your kind of formal proposal for your end of course project. And you want to do a real upstanding job on this. Now, first of all, you need to have 15 sources, and the book has some very distinct ways that you need to have those sources. You can only have a certain number of sources that are from your other classes or from this course. So please keep that in mind. And then if you are going to do a sermon series, which a number of you are, or if you're going to do a curriculum series, like a teaching series, then you need to detail out the subject and the proposition or the thesis statement for each of those different things. So just follow the instructions, and then as I tell people, make sure you look at the rubric, because that's the way I'm contractually obligated to grade you. All right? So hey, if there's anything else I can do for you, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I'm here for you guys, And I'm excited about the progress that you're making as a class, and I'll try to get to your grading really fast. So may the Lord bless you and have a great week. All right, take care.